This episode of the Beyond the Physics podcast is brought to you by you. So if you'd like to support the podcast, please leave a rating and review and consider subscribing at patreon.com/Beyond the Physics. This is Beyond the Physics. Okay, I think everything should be dialed in. So, how's it going, Neil? Thanks for coming here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad that you decided to join us before you go off and do big things. It's kind of our last opportunity, right?
Yeah, that's right.
How does that feel?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't really understand it yet. Was it last night that I was talking about how it just hit me briefly that in like 2 weeks I'll be in like a whole different country speaking a different language or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was scary. That's the first time I feel like it really like hit me, but it's still so hard for me to like, I feel like I still don't have anything to like grab onto that I can like think about and freak out. Like everything is so undefined that I don't even know what to be afraid of. So in that sense, like the things that I'm mostly afraid of is like the idea that like my friend groups and stuff like that, I'm not gonna have access to that stuff anymore, to you guys and to the people that I'm close to here, my like community. I also guess I'm gonna be really, really busy, and so at least there's a part of me that is like, I'm probably not even gonna have time to be sad about this stuff, but that also kind of makes me sad because my community is really important to me, and I want time to think about them and you. So yeah, that's how it feels. I'm excited though. Mm-hmm. I'm terrified, but I'm excited.
Yeah, yesterday we were talking about it, and kind of like that realization that finishing the PhD, it comes with a whole series of transitions in any way, and it feels a little sad, feeling like, or realizing that you're not gonna be like close to your friends here anymore, at least like in person, that we can just come here and hang out and play board games and the usual thing that we do. So I think we're all gonna miss that a lot.
Yeah,
probably
sure.
more than we realized right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm dreading more, that feeling, but I don't feel it yet. So, but I know it's coming.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because the PhD is so long.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like you're stuck in this thing, and a lot of times it could feel so bad.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, this shit's the worst. And then it's kind of like a little bit of Stockholm, kind of like Stockholm syndrome. Like the community, I'd say, is the positive.
Of course.
Right? It's not torturous in that aspect, but it's just like you're in the pits for so long, and then all of a sudden it's just like, okay, you're free to leave, and then you're like, what do I do with this, right? What do I do with this feeling?
Yeah. It does feel really weird.
So it's just like, yeah, because I'm feeling it too, right? Since I'm like right on the cusp of leaving, it's just like, I guess I'm just like imagining myself across that threshold since it's so close.
There's that like metaphor that pressure makes diamonds, right? And I don't think it's like a great metaphor for for graduate school, but what this made me think of is like you put something under so much pressure that it becomes a diamond, and I don't know what happens like physically in that situation, but like when you release the pressure, now the thing is just, it stays the same. The pressure of the PhD has been released from us, or from me at this moment, and I don't know how to decompress. Like I don't know how to like fill up the space that I have with my days now or whatever. Not that I really have that much free time in the sense of like literal free time, just because getting ready to move and stuff, but it feels weird. The routine gets messed up, your like the way that you deal with stress and stuff like that changes. And like I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but like one way that the funny thing about the PhD is that it's a really good way to pass the time. Like when you look up from like doing a bunch of work, like a ton of time has passed and you're like, wow, that was crazy, right? So much time has passed. And I think it's easy to fall into a reflex of like, that's how I sort of cope with stress, is like, I'm just going to go do the work sometimes, or like, I'm like, at least if I go do this, time will pass fast or something like that. And now that I don't have that work to do, like the anxiety feels a lot more at the surface than it somehow felt like it was while I was working as hard as I was, which is weird. I don't know if I had thought about that so far. I'm thinking about that only for the first time right now. Like I'm like you, I have time to be actively anxious, as opposed to being like, I'm anxious but I have so much to do that I don't have time to be anxious.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I was just talking with my sister a couple days ago. She was asking me about politics stuff. She's like, oh, I'm so worried about the country and the world and stuff like that. And she's like, how are you not more concerned about that? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to get a PhD right now. And like, there's only so much focus and power and attention I have to do anything at any given moment. I have this massive project in front of me, so it's just like I choose to dedicate my focus towards that at the moment. I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna try to be like not ignorant as to what's going on, but like it kind of helps me compartmentalize, I guess.
And there's only so much bandwidth that you have to give your energy to your work and things to worry about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so then my sister was like, well, okay, that sounds like actually it's a good thing. Maybe like she's like, I'm kind of glad that you have that for you right now. And it's a little bit of a funny.
It's so weird. I don't know if you guys want to get into politics in this episode, but like I just feel like it's so important to be engaged in politics, and simultaneously it feels so destructive to be engaged in politics these days. It's like, it's just really hard to do so in a healthy way, and even harder to do it in a way that feels productive, because it just feels like so much of it is just a bunch of noise right now, no matter what you believe, Yeah.
I mean, I think the U.S. is kind of like in a really bad spot. Just thinking about political divisiveness and like how people talk with each other. It's just so toxic, and it's gotten to like just a crazy level, and it's just like hard to engage with it at all.
And in that sense, I do think that it's like beneficial to have something else to focus on. Even though it might feel a little guilty that you're not working as hard as you could to, like, I don't know, better better the world, make the world better, or like, I don't know, do political activism to help something that you believe in or something like that. But at the same time, I do almost feel like, on the other side of the coin, you doing the thing that you love or care about, or like building something that at least at some point in your life you decided was important to you, I think that's like what the world is missing more of, right? Like, as more people just like building something instead of tearing stuff or each other down. So
I think it's like a pure, something that's kind of like pure in its conception. I think it's I think people need more sources of things that just aren't related to politics.
More hobbies.
Like do a PhD.
Okay. I'm tempted to go down the political rabbit hole, but maybe it's a little spicy just at the top, right?
Yeah. I'd be fine not doing that.
Yeah, me too. That's
Me
fine.
too.
But so talking about Gustav, with you leaving, one question that's been on my mind lately is, why'd you choose to stay in academia? How'd you come to that conclusion?
Like up front, having the opportunity to stay in academia is like a crazy privilege. Because no matter what I chose, I could have always not had that opportunity. So let's say, and maybe this is kind of like the truth is that I was open to leaving, but I got this job offer and I'm really happy with it. So so I took it. So I'm not so when talking to one of our friends, I refer to this as the superpower, which is I like physics. I'm in this field because I chose to be, and despite how hard it's been, I still feel like I'm good enough at it and happy enough to do it, to keep going and to try to get the next position. And despite that love, I also feel like I have enough skills. I'm flexible enough. I'm not emotionally attached to this career so much that I wouldn't want to that I would resist changing fields if that felt like the right opportunity for me. So I think maybe a lot of people's answer to this question is like, oh, I have this dream, I want to follow this dream. That's still true, but it's more pragmatic than that for me, because like I don't necessarily feel like this is like my calling or something. I don't really feel like it's the only thing I can do or the only thing I want to do, or that I'm gonna like lose my sense of identity if I leave. But I do think I'm good at it and I'm excited to do it. Like the technical aspect of it, the stuff that I do on the day to day, the kinds of things that I get to think about and get paid for, are satisfying to me in a deep way that I've always appreciated since I was an undergrad. So yeah, I mean, the answer is that I achieved the next position and I'm happy to keep going that route. And I guess that's the thing that I always say, and this is the real superpower, is like, I'll keep going as long as I can. And if I can't, I'll just do something else. The just do something else is doing a lot of work there, of course, because like changing careers, especially nowadays, is really, really hard. So it's not that that's not scary. It is scary. And by the same token, just keep going in my career that I have right now is relatively easy. It's not easy because it's competitive, but it's easy because I don't have to do a lot of work in a different direction and change things and replan my life or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that a good answer?
It was very good. A+.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I was wondering, like, how has your perspective changed since like the beginning of grad school? You just coming in versus here at the end now.
That's so funny. It has been the same.
Okay.
Like, and I that didn't occur to me until now. Like, I've always had this attitude, actually. Like going into high energy theory, like when we got into grad school, I know you went through the same thing. Like you're not guaranteed to do the thing that you like set out to do when you applied to grad school. I don't know if this is different in other places of the world or whatever, but I'm pretty sure this is normal in the US. You don't necessarily go to grad school and immediately get hired to do a job, and you might just not be selected to be part of the group that you want to be part of. And so already from there, I had to kind of accept that I might not do the thing that I wanted to pursue. And so the attitude was always the same. It's like, well, if I don't get to do this thing, I guess I have to do something else. But for some reason, I've always been kind of open to that. I find myself, I have an easy time convincing myself that I'm happy doing the thing that I'm currently doing right now. And so that gives me a lot of like confidence that whatever I decide next is also gonna be okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the so like, did it change from the beginning? I mean, yeah, because the circumstances are different, and I've gone through a lot of different experiences. There were some points in the program that were particularly painful, and I would tell Angelica, like, if in the next position I feel like this again, maybe I just leave. Which, by the way, is still true.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I get older, I change, stuff like that. So that opinion kind of evolves with it. But I think the superpower stays the same. It's like this doesn't have that much power over me because I just get to leave whenever I want. There might be some deep way in which that's like I'm coping with like how shitty things are right now, and I tell myself it's fine, I can just leave whenever I want, but I don't want to leave right now, right? Yeah, maybe when I'm like 70, I'll look back and be like, why did I do that? Like, why did I stay? But no, so far I don't think I regret anything.
I think that's the important part.
Yeah.
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 But
So did you always have the idea like, oh, I'll just go as far as I can in academia?
Yeah.
And basically like, okay, if that doesn't work out, then I'll do something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was in undergrad, I didn't set out to be in grad school right off the bat. I wanted to do I want to make video games. I was a computer science major.
cool.
But then I took this really cool class at the time. It was called Unifying Concepts in Computer Science. And I learned about all this cool stuff in like theoretical computer science, and I really fell in love with like, I don't know, like the more philosophical aspects of science that kind of like change how people perceive that somehow have the power to change your perspective about how things work in some way. It doesn't have to be like in physics or computer science. It can be whatever. Like when people discovered cells in biology, that like, when they decided that cells were alive, like that changed the world somehow. But yeah, so that class like made me want to go into grad school, because I was like, oh, like I this is really cool. It's one of the coolest things I've ever experienced, and it would be cool to pursue this as a career. But my grades were bad in computer science, and I had a friend who was doing physics, and he was like another sort of like big inspiration for me, in the sense of like he would show me this physics stuff, and I would think that was really cool, even though I wasn't at that level. And I was already doing a minor in physics at the time, and then when my grades were in computer science were too bad to do grad school in computer science, I just finished the physics degree with 1 extra year. So I did a 5-year undergrad.
Oh.
And then, so like that was the decision-making process of eventually going into academia. But of course, like every time, I mean, I went to like the advisor at my undergrad, and I was like, I want to go to grad school. And she just starts talking to me like, I want to do a master's. And I'm like, no, I want to do like a PhD. And she's like, why? You're not going to make any more money. And I was like, oh, I want to do research. And she was like, oh. And you get these warnings of like how hard it is, and how, maybe like unrewarding it can be or something like that. And I mean, yeah, that's all true. Yeah, I don't know. I forget where I was going with this, but it's like I took the challenge on, and I thought that I had the right mindset. And I think part of that mindset was like the realization that I can't be too attached to this goal. I was never good enough at school to like just be super confident that I was always going to get what I wanted. So.
Oh, that's interesting, knowing from my perspective of you. But anyways, yeah, that was great. There's a lot of tendrils I see that I want to go down that. Yeah. But I think I want to open up the conversation a little bit. Is the interesting aspect of having both of you on is it seems like you've reached potentially different conclusions about what to do, having completed a PhD in physics, right?
Yep.
And I'd like to drill down a little bit as to like why that is, like where did that difference come from? My guess is it has to do with like each of our perceptions on what the physics culture is like. That's my interpretation, but maybe I'm wrong. But so, Angelica, what do you think? Why didn't you stay in academia? That's one way to ask the question. Or why are you looking for something else?
Yeah. Well, I think that the short answer will be that it was just not fun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like quite the opposite. It was just stressful.
Mm-hmm.
I get stressed very easily, and it was getting to a point in which I was honestly being worried about my health. It's like, if I keep this rhythm, this is just not gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really hard. It was really hard because it's not that I have a plan B that is very clear to me, that I feel passionate about, and it's like, no, I'm not gonna do physics because this is my passion and I'm gonna pursue this. It's not the case. And so it makes it really, really difficult. I did question many times. It's like, in the process of understanding that how I'm feeling about it, if I will regret it later, for example. I'm glad it has not been the case. Like, I still feel that I made the right decision, but it was hard. And I guess for different reasons, the culture definitely is a big part of it. I just don't like the environment of like high stress, go, fictitious deadlines that you are just always in the rush of meeting. And another big part of it is just the uncertainty of this path. That gets me. That was too much for me to handle. It's like, what are you telling me, that I could potentially spend 6 more years doing postdocs and then not get anywhere and still do a transition of career?
Yeah, it's not like if you don't get the position, you get to just keep looking.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a dead end at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, sorry, that just doesn't align with what I feel comfortable about life. And it's interesting because I feel that I've changed so much since I started grad school. And I think that it really aligns of you aging is different, the perception that you have in life when you are, whatever, 22, 23, when you start grad school. And I mean, almost like 10 years later, on and off, you're 32 and life is different. Your priorities are different. It's like what it seems when I was 23, it's like, oh, in 5 years, who knows, I'll figure this out. It's like, okay, the time has come. How do I feel about it now? You know? So yeah, I think that the main reasons were the high stress culture, the very hierarchical culture. From my experiences, it was also, I don't know, I struggle with, which is also part of the culture, but like this thing of like everyone is just trying to prove that they are the smartest people in the world. That doesn't work for me. So
I'm curious, what was the moment that you realized that it wasn't fun anymore? Like, that it was too stressful?
That's funny because there's a day for that.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Okay.
there's a date. And it was actually the journal club, when I presented in the journal club. I, like, right up to that point, I was still considering doing a postdoc afterwards. It's like, I mean, that time that I was in working from Portugal, it was going well. It's like that part of the work, I was enjoying it more. And it was, it was going. Things were happening. And I was like, maybe if things are like this, I will enjoy doing a postdoc. So up to that point, I was still open to the idea of staying in academia. Maybe also because I didn't know what would be a plan B. So it just seems like things were aligning, right?
Yeah.
But the peak of stress, preparing for that journal club, and the experience of being there, giving the journal club. It just boiled down all the how I feel about like kind of like this disconnection to academia. At the end of the day, I feel that I don't belong to this culture, to this industry, if you want to say it that way. And if I felt so incredibly bad afterwards that I was like, it was a little bit of a deja vu of how I was feeling in many times of the undergrad and the PhD. It's like, I don't think I enjoy this. To overcome all the stress that comes with it, and plus like all the uncertainty that implies having a career in academia, it's like, I think I'm out.
Yeah. So can I ask what happened in the journal club?
I mean, I guess nothing in a specific.
So Irene, Angelica, and I were all in the room. I
Yeah,
guess.
we were all part of this journal club.
Okay,
Yes.
so you guys know any gossip?
No, there's no gossip. It's really not that anything in particular happened.
Yes.
But I do think it's like a really... It's hard to describe. It's just that it's like a really good example, let's say, of the other things that you complained about, of like the sort of performance aspect of it, where like sometimes you feel like if you're wrong, that's like people look down on you or whatever. Even though, like, you know, like we all know it's like normal to make mistakes, right? And in an environment, especially in an environment where you're training to learn something, where you're, you know, supposed to be discussing a topic like a journal club, you're supposed to be discussing a topic that everybody is like learning or whatever. And if you just don't feel comfortable and not like it's not even not like that. Like the whole point is to go up there and like present on this like journal paper or whatever. And the whole point is to learn. And if you're afraid to even make a mistake, like if you're so concerned with whether or not everything that you're saying is right or correct or insightful or whatever, that it petrifies you from actually starting the discussion, that sucks. That's not productive anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can correct me about like how that felt for you. Like
yeah, that's a big portion. Also, but another portion I think is more like my personal history, let's say, with physics since the undergrad. It's just like overall, I will say that I've always felt very insecure about like me being in physics, me being in like the physics community. It just felt like deep down I was not for it, or physics was not for me, and for some reason or another I just kept pushing it.
But you did like, I mean, you pursued it at least at first because you were interested in it, like in the topic. So like not
Undergrad, you mean, or?
Well,
yeah.
At each point that you made the decision, presumably there was some aspect of like the content that you were still interested in, like.
Yes. Yes, that definitely was there. Like in the undergrad.
Is it more that you didn't feel accepted? Is that what you mean when you say that you didn't belong in physics?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, is there a level of like not feeling like safe like in the environment itself, like to, like you said, to make the mistakes, to be like, I don't know. I mean, I kind of have a similar feeling as well as you. Like, I feel like I don't really belong a lot of times, and I am also questioning whether I want to stay in academia or not because of these reasons. There's moments like where I'm just doing my work and I'm locked in and I love it, and I'm like, this is actually exciting. Like, I like doing this. If I could do this, I think I would keep going. But then there's issues like the journal club. I was petrified as well doing that. And also, I also feel like there's an expectation that we have to participate in these activities, and if you don't, you're looked down upon, or like they like mark you for somehow negatively for like now.
I feel that you're constantly being judged.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, exactly. That's a really good addition to that. Like, the judgment there all the time, and it's just like all of those things make you so stressed all the time that like you can't even feel safe in the environment. You can't feel like, okay, I can do the work, because when I'm so stressed out and I'm feeling like I have to watch my back all the time, I can't even like immerse myself in the actual work that I'm doing and that I do enjoy. You can't enjoy the experience, right? I mean, and the fact that a lot of times I feel like I don't have a choice also. Like I have to participate in all these activities that I don't feel comfortable in. You're not creating, the culture in general is not creating like an environment for me to feel safe to participate. You're making me participate in so many aspects. And the only thing that I actually enjoy is doing my work. And I can't even do that like freely and happily because I have all this other stress that you make me, you force me into like participating in. Yeah. So it's like,
and I think like to be clear, I don't think you're, and you can correct me, but from like what I know about you, like I don't think that your problem is with participating or engaging with the content in a let's say discussion level or community level. It's that when it has happened the way that it has happened, it has been bad. And then you say, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. And then you get marked for it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, Angelica, what do you feel like with all that in general?
I mean, it resonates. It feels similar. Another thing that, made me question a lot more internally is like, do I really like this? It's because I felt embarrassed recognizing this back then. But I was not super eager or curious to go to colloquiums, to listen to seminars, to go to conferences. It's like, and you hear other people in the community, it's like, oh yeah, going to the conference and so excited about it. I was always like, avoiding. I went to one conference and it was so freaking stressful. It's like, this is just not fun to me. This is not fun. It's like there were moments in which I do remember this very pure feeling of like enjoying the work, but it was more along the lines of what you were saying. It's like you're just there doing the work, and it's like, okay, you get into flow state, and it goes, it happens, and it's like you get excited when you start understanding all the pieces, and it's like, okay, this is actually kind of fun. But from there, doing the leap of like, being a more active part of the academic environment, I felt that was not me. And then I was questioning, it's like, what's the point then? It's like, if I recognize that this is the case, then sure, I could force myself, let's say quotation marks, to do a second postdoc. The ultimate goal is to be a professor if you are staying in academia. So if there were like important pieces that I recognize I don't enjoy, then it's like, this is just gonna make it harder afterwards. But
I mean, like, I don't know why there can't be a space for people who don't want to do it exactly the way that it always has been done. Like, there's like this roadmap of how you have to do it. It's like, why can't I just do the work the way I want to do it? Why do I have to go to 1,000 conferences and like feel uncomfortable? Because I also get panic attacks when I go to conferences, like hardcore. I have to go like escape, go for long walks, like to manage it. And it's just like, it's not worth it. I think there's only one kind of experience that I really genuinely had the best enjoyment was when I went to Brazil for like this workshop for like gravity stuff. It was like really centered to what I did, and there are people there that I knew I was close with and I felt comfortable with, and the people there were just really cool, and I had a really good experience because I connected with them as humans, as people, and we did fun things. We talked about fun things outside of physics, philosophical things, and like it was a really good connection with the community. But it's like I find that rare in conferences to have that kind of connection with people, right? So it's kind of like, I mean, you maybe for some people it's easier to find that. For me, I don't tend to find that in a lot of times when I go to conferences. Mostly it's like anxiety, like the judgment, the performance. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm supposed to know what he's talking about, but I have no idea what what the words are coming out of his mouth.
I would actually challenge that. I think in like 95% of like any given person's time at a conference is usually like.
But people act like they understand everything, and they like the.
Maybe a minority of people, but I do think it's a loud minority.
Okay, maybe it's just because they're so loud, and then that's what I see. That's what I hear, and then it just makes me more anxious. It's hard for me and it could be my personality. I don't know, my like anxieties that I bring on the table as well makes it harder for me to immerse into the community. But I wish there was like a space that was easier for people that might have that,
Yeah. And even the small things like group lunch. I feel that whenever you're surrounded by physicists, at least I'm always kind of like, my default is like, people are gonna talk about physics, and that stresses me out because there's a lot of experts and like they know all kinds of stuff, and then I feel that I'm always scared that they're gonna ask me something and I'm then on the spotlight, and then it's like I'll make a fool of myself. I mean, it's just descriptions of being anxious about it, right? But even like joining group lunch, I was always like, not the most enjoyable time. So it was just all the different aspects of it. And I guess another, which kind of like reinforced my decision when I decided to not stay in academia, is when we started dating and kind of like, things were going fine. And definitely two people wanted to stay in academia simultaneously. That just, I don't know, that's just like extra hard. So it was like, you know what? This is great, because if Gustavo wants to, pursue academia, I decided that I'm just gonna switch to industry. It's definitely easier to just find an industry job, or that's what I thought back then, to find an industry job like in any location. You can do, you just adapt. But then it felt less constraining when thinking about the two of us together. But yeah.
I think it's going to be hard either way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it might be true.
But I also think that it's hard everywhere, anywhere. Like, whether or not you're like moving frequently or whatever, like finding work right now is really hard. So
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know whether to go back to, I'm just going to say it anyways, just my thoughts on the whole
Go ahead.
everything. Personally, my problem with all of those spaces that you brought up is just I find them all so fake. Like, they're all so performative, right? And it's always like, when I've gone to conferences, I've hated it. Just everyone there is just so like serious. They're so fuddy-duddy. They're so like, oh, I'm here to like grease the wheels. I'm here to talk about my shit. And
it's true.
And it's just like, I'm not there for that.
I do think there's like a business component to it of like, I'm gonna shake hands and meet people, and like my career is gonna move forward because I'm here and stuff like that. But one of my biggest problems with physics, which like, as long as I'm in physics, I will fight this, is how seriously people take it.
Yeah.
Like, of course, like, science has to be done, and it has to be done well, and if it's bullshit science, it's just not science. Crack a joke every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. It's just like,
it's okay, right?
I would prefer people to just be like, oh, hey, I did this thing. Like, I think it's kind of cool. Like, go play with it. Go. It's just like, I don't know. And so that's been, since we're still in the system, that's been kind of like how I've been rebelling the past couple of years or whatever, is like, for people who are listening who don't really know what we're talking about, is just like, there's all these spaces where they like kind of monopolize your time, right? They say like, oh, you gotta come to journal clubs, you gotta come to seminars, you gotta come to colloquium, and you gotta do this and that and whatever. It's just like meetings after meetings after meetings, group lunch, whatever.
Yeah.
And the past couple of years, I've just been like, or what? Like, I'm not going. What are you going to do about it? And it's been working out pretty good for me so far.
Yeah.
And to Irene's point, like, does it have to be that way, right? Like, if I manage to make it through and I decided to stay in academia, maybe I can make my own way to like exist. But
I do think that that's like important actually. Like, if it's not working for you, you got to find your way to make it work, whether or not you're staying in academia. Like, if you're like it, like the problem is that like these things need to exist. Like the journal clubs and the colloquia and the seminars and the conferences, they need to exist. Like, they're important spaces in theory. Like, I do think I agree with as the sole person maybe at this table who's like thinking about going into academia, who's going to continue in academia.
I might, but
I'm
not as certain as you, obviously.
Right. Like I'm not even trying to defend their existence. I am trying to defend their existence. I'm not trying to defend how it feels. I agree that it can feel really bad.
Yeah.
But right, like my sort of like utopian idea of what a journal club or some sort of discussion session is for physics is like really important. Like, physics is a team sport, in my opinion. Like, you have to be able to talk to people. And when I say you have to be able to talk to people, I don't mean like you have to perform and like be always correct. And I mean like there is a need to communicate, to like correct, to like bounce ideas off of each other and to learn from each other and stuff like that. Maybe not everybody has that need. I have that need. With that said, like the way that we have all collectively experienced that, like the manifestation of like these sort of like events, right? It feels so much more. I agree with you. It doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel like a genuine like opportunity to form a community around this shared goal that we have of performing research on some topic or whatever. Even more so when you are actively working on the same project, let's say. It does feel instead like, all right, now it's your turn on the spotlight, on the hot seat, and you're gonna give your update, or you're gonna do the journal club or whatever, and the whole audience is gonna stare at you with a furrowed brow and be like, what are you talking about? This is incorrect. You're not doing it well enough or whatever. And so, I'm
like already like, I'm getting anxious just thinking, oh my God.
And so I completely agree. It can feel really bad, but like my favorite moments in physics are like when this kind of thing typically is when this kind of thing happens naturally, when you're like talking to somebody else who's just interested in the physics that you're doing, the thing that you're working on, not because they are interested in your professional development or their own professional development and how you can impact that or whatever, but because physics is cool, which is the reason that we all like got into the field, at least originally, at least I assume. And like those moments, like when you're just excited about having a conversation about the common point of interest that you have in some topic or whatever, like those are my favorite moments. It's the human connection that you get from the technical thing, not just the performative aspect of like going, I'm a physicist, I'm only correct and never incorrect, and if you think that I'm incorrect, we're gonna argue about it, and I'm gonna get defensive. Like,
I also feel like what I will consider the bad part of the academia environment in physics is kind of like, I don't know, a vicious cycle of the system and how it works. Because then I do recognize that a lot of people, the motivator for a lot of people tend to be like the number of conferences you attend. So you can put that in your resume or in your CV. The number of papers and all the, the snowball effect that originates, right? And the famous phase of like playing the game. You have to play the game if you want to make it. And yeah, I feel that brings up the sucky parts of the whole deal.
Yeah, the fact that it's so competitive,
Yeah.
at least like for the larger community, like at conferences and stuff like that, that definitely feels like is part of the implied like environment at a conference is that everybody's competing.
Yeah.
What about you, Joe? When you started the PhD, what do you have in mind? Were you considering like an academia path or?
Yeah. I don't know, because when I came in, I was so like ignorant as to like what that looked like.
Sure.
That I was unaware that to become a professor entailed postdocs, multiple postdocs
in different places.
And so when I came in, I was just like, I don't know where this is going, but just the reason I got into physics was for like self-improvement, I guess, growth, because in school, well, okay, I mean, I've told this story a few times on the podcast, but I'll say it anyways, is well, okay, if we want to get psychoanalyzing in this, it might have been rooted in like insecurity, is that like perhaps feeling like not good enough or something, but growing up I was much better at like almost any other subject than physics. I thought the subject was really interesting, but in high school I asked myself like, okay, what's the hardest thing I could do with my life? And I came to the conclusion it's physics. And so then I'm like, okay, well, if I can get a PhD in physics, then I can't give myself any bullshit excuse to not do anything else hard in my life, because I can accomplish anything I could think of, right? The hardest thing I could possibly think of. And so it's a little bit naive, perhaps, coming into grad school with that mentality. But so it was mainly just as like a challenge to myself, right? Of like doing the hardest thing I could think of. And there's other layers to that of like that get darker. And I don't know if we want to go there or not. But I'll say it anyways, since you're
just say
let's
it.
hear it.
We all want to.
Is growing up for me was pretty hard. I struggled. My parents divorced when I was like 1, and it was tough because so I lived with my dad and my stepmom, and they weren't like the most attentive, and so I struggled with like depression and suicidal ideation and stuff like that. Nowadays, not so much. I think it was mainly just the environment that I was in. But anyways, so I struggled with that at a very young age. Like I landed on like nihilism when I was like 7 years old or something. I was like, the universe has no meaning. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Kind of thing. Anyway, so the living in the universe was like so hard for me that I was just like, I need to find a way out, like on like a super abstract level that's like not even conscious. I thought that like somehow physics could like save me, right? Somehow I'll find some secret to the universe and escape or something. So
like find meaning.
No, I mean
like a wormhole
it's,
and literally escape.
Yeah, it's like, it sounds stupid. It sounds stupid, but it's like, like literally escape the universe somehow. Like it's the only hope I have of like escaping this universe alive is finding some kind of wormhole or something. And so anyways, long story short, coming into grad school, I'm like, I don't know what's coming after this, and here I am couple months out of getting my PhD, and I have some rough ideas, but I'm not really attached to much, right? I still don't really have that firm of a concept of like what I'm going to do next. But I'm not too worried about it. I think it's going to work out.
It will.
Yeah. So I trust in that. But anyways, I don't know if that gives... Let me open up the table to everyone else. So I just bared my soul. Why did everyone else get into physics? Because you also kind of brought that up not too long ago. It's like you were assuming we all got into it because we were interested. I'm curious, why did everyone land on physics?
So it's a funny story actually. Like, there's a couple different levels, because I remember like maybe my like earliest memory of like the remote interest of that I had in physics was my dad like telling me some story about how like the universe is expanding and people don't know why or whatever. And I remember him like doing a pose, like widening his arms, like telling me to describe the size of the universe and how it's expanding. And I think about that often. But like I think at the time I wanted to do biology or something. And when I say do biology, it sounds so serious. I was probably like 5 or something. Like I was like really young. But I knew I liked science. I liked dinosaurs and like boy shit. But that's like the memory that I might say like put the seed in my brain of like eventually doing physics and being happy doing so. But so I said earlier about how like I wanted to do computer science, and then my grades weren't good enough, so then I went into physics because I had a friend who was in physics, and that was kind of like the inciting like series of events. Like I when I was in high school got really into art. I went into computer science because my parents said that I needed to do something that would make me money. And I was like, fine, I'll make video games, LOL. And then fell in love with like, you know, theory and stuff like that through computer science. And then I guess I think from late in my undergrad, and when I decided to go into physics, I knew that I wanted to learn more high energy theory. It just seemed fun to me. It's not the kind of thing that I ever had the aspirations of like changing the world or something like that with it, right? I think that would be maybe misguided. But everybody at all of the professors in my undergrad were high energy theorists, except maybe 2. I think there were like 4 or 5 of them there. And so I didn't really have many other role models in physics. So I think like if I had to think of the one topic that I was really interested in, it was high energy theory, which is really popular and almost like cliche. But I always had, like I said, I always felt like I was like flexible enough that if I didn't get to do this, then I would just do something else, and I would also find that interesting. I always liked science.
Well, so how much of the high energy comes from you versus just that was the available role models, right? Like,
it all comes from me because it was hard as hell to get here. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I say that was like they were my only role models, and that's kind of true. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like I don't know if I got more exposed to other topics that I would have been interested in those topics instead.
Yeah. But so where was like the first moment where you felt like, oh, high energy is where it's at?
That's a good question, because I didn't really get that much exposure to it in undergrad. Like the topic. I was exposed to the people. I didn't really know what it was like.
Yeah.
Like even taking the courses, like, you know, you had to take classical, probably E&M,
Classical mechanics,
quantum
and stuff,
mechanics.
Yeah.
Like where you're like, oh, you drawn more towards quantum mechanics, for example.
I
versus
was,
the others.
yeah. That's a good way to put it. Maybe I just like the
I don't know. I just wonder, because for me, I was drawn more towards quantum mechanics, like by far than the others. So.
But I'm wondering like where that comes from, because normally what I hear from people in that field is like a desire to understand like the most fundamental parts of nature or whatever.
That's not what drives me now. I mean, yeah, it's cool that maybe our research has some of that impact. And I think a lot of people try to sell it that way. And it's true that probably like people's careers and stuff depend on that pitch. And I guess in some sense it's true, yeah, like, oh, we have to, you know, the main drive of I don't know, you know, we are the universe understanding itself or whatever, Carl Sagan idea, which I like. I don't know, man. To me, it's just a big puzzle. It's like it might as well be like a newspaper, like crossword puzzle. Like it's just like it's this like cosmic puzzle. It's this thing. It's almost like spiritual to me, even of like. That's crazy that all this abstract like ideas that people have any power to describe the world whatsoever, and that like as human beings we find some semblance of beauty in it, which is like some kind of intrinsic attraction that we feel to these ideas somehow. But when I'm doing my work, I'm not like, oh, this is so sexy. Like the whole time I'm not thinking about how like deep it is or whatever that I'm doing, right? It's more like solving a crossword puzzle. It's more like, what's the next thing that I can do that like could, you know, make figuring this out a little bit easier. And of course, like even as like deciding research problems, you always have to choose like the smallest next achievable thing that you can think of, not the big question, right? Like not like quantum gravity or whatever. You're like, how do I compute like one new epsilon that other people haven't been able to do before? So I mean, for me, I guess I find, so I like I say, this is some part of it is relatively like spiritual to me, like some ideas in physics, you solve that problem in class or whatever, and you're like, wow, that's amazing. But that I'm not in physics because I want to perceive or construct beautiful things. Although I feel like I am part of this larger project somehow. It's way more about the pleasure of puzzle solving on a moment by moment basis for me. And that's, maybe to go back, that's why I want to stay in academia. It's because I get paid to do that. And that's sick. Yeah, like, so, okay. I don't know. I didn't know I had all that in me.
So you learned a lot about yourself. That's
good. I've had a lot of those lately.
Yeah, like you said, it's coming to the surface.
Yeah.
Right? And how about you?
Yeah, when I hear everybody else's answers.
Yeah. Gosh, in retrospect, I feel that my path has not been very smooth from the beginning. But I guess it was in high school where, after taking physics classes, that I liked them and I enjoyed them. And like in the last year of high school, that, you know, you need to decide what to do with your life, it was a struggle to decide what I wanted to do. And I guess the only guide that I had was the classes that I was taking. It's like, okay, from the classes I'm taking, or I have taken, what do I like the most? Or like, can that be, you know, a guide of what I would like to do? And my options were like, well, I like physics, and I like other class that, I don't know how you will say it in English, but it was more like technical drawing type of thing.
Okay.
It's like, oh, maybe architecture, I guess I could enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then, I was in Venezuela. Science in Venezuela is just not encouraged at all. If you pursue something that isn't science, almost like the default is that you're just going to be a high school professor or something.
That's curious. Why, do you know why that is?
Oh, yeah. It boils down to the political situation. Like, there's no budget assigned to science or anything. It's really just crazy. Yeah.
And it's crazy how many like good physicists come out of Venezuela despite this.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I was so unsure of what to do, because on the one hand I knew that reality of science in Venezuela. It's like, I don't know. But I was truly like intrinsically motivated for the curiosity of learning physics. And at some point it was even my mom that I guess that she saw how confused I was. One day she goes, it's like, if you just want to do physics, do physics. And who cares what everyone says? Because, in the meantime, I told my physics professor in high school, I told my math professor in high school that I was going to do physics, and they were actively encouraging me to not do physics. It's like, don't do that. Don't do that. It's like, this is so confusing. I don't know what to do. But anyways, I end up deciding going for physics. I was lucky enough to get into the university that I wanted in Venezuela. But I don't know, I feel that the path became like not very smooth quite early on. It's like my experience there, in average, was not good. It was very high stress, very high pressure. I didn't realize it at the time because I was just there and trying to get by, and the structure of it's not semester, it's trimester, it's all so condensed, it's so intense that it kind of like was just an automatic, one class after the other. But the culture was already so bad in retrospect, and it was probably the worst physics culture that I have experienced so far. And it had, on top of what we have talked about, it was a small department, a small university. And at least with the undergrads, there was this idea that everyone got so ingrained, which I absolutely hate. It's like, because you're a physicist, you're so smart, you're so superior, and that was permeating everything. Like that's how things work back then. Like, I felt unwelcome and like not belonging since my undergrad. So, and because of what I mentioned about science in Venezuela, almost everything that was done there was theory, because there's no budget to do any experiment. So there were in fact many like high energy physicists, and I remember actively, it's like, no, that's just not for me, because only the smartest of the smartest will do high energy theory. And I was like, kind of like, I'm just not there. That's just not for me. I'll find something small to do, whatever. And then, I finished the undergrad. It was really, really, really hard. But then that was 2016, 2015, I don't know. A very unstable, very high stress time for Venezuela. And at that point, all my family, all my friends, we were all planning on leaving Venezuela one way or another. And doing grad school felt like a privilege in making that transition. Like, in the meantime, some of my friends, they have also graduated from their own careers. Some of them have already left Venezuela at the time. And, the reality of emigrating to a different place is like, who cares? They are architects, they are engineers, and the type of, you just have to get any job you find wherever you go. And I guess from the physics department, it was kind of like a clear path. Like people were graduating and going for a PhD. It just seems like that's the thing, that's the way to go, that's what you do. And I guess it helped that I had friends that they just entered grad school the year before I graduated, or like 2 years before I graduated. So the conversation was very fresh. And it was like, I mean, this sounds like a good next step. Not necessarily because I was in love with physics back then. Yeah. It just seems like strategically it was just so convenient. And which is, looking back, a kind of bizarre motivation for doing a PhD. But I didn't have very clear at all what anything entailed.
Long-term
like
career
I was like, well, what I know is that I'm gonna start a PhD. I guess I'll figure out what to do by the time I graduate. I didn't have a plan whatsoever, right? And yeah, so I came here. That first year was actually one of my best years in physics. It's like the change felt so refreshing coming from Venezuela. Wow. So refreshing that I was like, wow, actually this is good. This is kind of fun. This is enjoyable. And then
That's true. You had a really good experience in your first year classes, right?
Yeah.
With the professors and with the cohort and
yeah.
with your friends,
yeah. But okay, then I joined hadronic experimental, and that was going okay. I guess that, well, long story short, by the third year I changed research group. And I mean, this was, I will admit it, like a big influence from David back then. We were just taking QFT. We finished taking QFT, and he was like, I mean, I was already very unhappy with the research in hadronic. I was considering doing something else, and he was like, I mean, we just passed through this QFT course, and I think you like it. I think you enjoy it. It was really hard, but anyways, it was him who put the seed of like talking to Laura, because I took QFT, and yeah, it was later that, I mean, long story short, I ended up joining the high energy theory, which, remembering how I felt about high energy theory back in the undergrad, that was such a conflict.
I think it's so badass.
For me. Yeah. It was like, I don't know. But that just to say that all the time, even since before I started the undergrad, it has always been this very very ups and downs, very emotionally intense path through physics. So I feel that I just needed a break.
Given that dissonance that you had in undergrad, I was wondering, like, okay, how did you end up going to grad school? But then you shared what's going on, like, geopolitically.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, okay, if you imagine a hypothetical alternate universe where Venezuela is totally stable or whatever, how much of it do you think going into grad school was, like, because of what was going on with that whole situation? Like, would you have still gone?
I will have probably still gone, because what I mentioned, it was so normal. It was so like what you do. Yeah. From what I was seeing in my department back in Venezuela, the physics department. Yeah. So it's like, that's what you do. You finish your undergrad and you go to grad school. And again, since I didn't have a better plan B, that just kept being the plan A. But definitely the situation in Venezuela emphasized that. It's like, this is the way to go.
I feel like another way to say this is that it's like a function of the opportunity that you had at the time, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I guess, to sort of like bounce off Joe here, let's say that you finish undergrad in physics and you have the experience that you had, but like you have the opportunity to change, as opposed to like, so it's not dictated by fate or whatever that you're gonna go to grad school, right? Either because that's what everybody does, or because you have to find a new country to move to or whatever. If you were offered a job, let's say that, you know, it wasn't like in Joe's alternate universe where Venezuela was not so scary, but like you're happy there, your family's happy there, and you have the opportunity to go to grad school, but instead you also have the opportunity to, I don't know, do some other job that I guess the question kind of hinges on what kind of job, right? Like you know.
I mean, knowing how stressful and how unhappy I felt towards the second part of the undergrad, I will have probably not pushed it too far.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But then you guys wouldn't have met.
Yeah.
I know, that's what I mean. It's like it's just so hard, because I even like ask myself, do I regret it? No, I don't. It's like I felt that, you know, it brought me here. I learned a lot in every possible way about physics, about life, about the world. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it. So
That's very sweet.
What about you
Me
guys?
neither. Would I change it? No, I wouldn't. Oh, what?
I don't think I know the story of how you ended up in physics.
Yeah,
Oh, I've shared that story on the podcast a few times.
Okay, tell me what episode.
Reference the episode, exact minute. No. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. It'll be interesting to see if what I say now is the same thing I've said in the past.
Yeah.
But I'd say, how did I get into physics in general? I guess it was probably, I think it was, let's see, I mean, in high school I took physics, but I guess I wasn't like, I enjoyed aspects of it, and mostly the theoretical aspects of it, like kind of like deriving equations and stuff like that. But then like, so it wasn't like on my radar, like, oh yeah, I wanted to study physics in undergrad or anything. Like I think my favorite subject then was probably math, so I was more into mathematics than anything. And then going into undergrad, I was actually looking to do neuroscience because I was interested in the brain and the mind, and really even consciousness and understanding consciousness. But then I thought, okay, if I do neuroscience, that'll get closer to understanding the mechanisms of the brain. But basically pretty early, already became clear that a lot of it had to deal with, we would have to do experiments on mice. And I was already, at that point, I was like, I don't think I can continue doing like neuroscience if that's part of the job.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, like,
They let undergrads do experiments on mice?
No, like we didn't have to start doing it yet, but we did do like dissections of brains and stuff like that. Like
but
brains.
you forced in the path of doing neuroscience.
Yeah, it was part of the conversation.
Okay,
this is gonna happen. This is part of the process, and so on.
I pictured you like scalpel in hand, going, I don't think.
No, I didn't get to that level yet. So then I wasn't sure exactly, so I kind of went around different topics. At some point I was like, oh, maybe I'll try to do film or something, because I was also interested in arts and music. In particular, I played piano, and I remember as a kid I was like, I want to be a neurosurgeon or a professional pianist. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll like explore my artistic side or something. But then eventually So I took some physics courses, basic ones. I didn't do too well. I wasn't putting that much attention or time into it. And then I said I'll try a upper level physics course. And I guess the professor I had then was probably my first mentor in physics, and probably one of the biggest influences, yeah. In terms of getting me interested in physics. Like, he was just like an amazing guy. He was always present. He was creating this like safe space for all the students in the class. The class was pretty small. It was like a liberal arts college, so the main focus of the school wasn't physics, so there weren't that many physics students, and it was an all-woman school, so there were probably like 7 majors in my year, so it was pretty small. And then working with him, I just felt like, okay, I mean, if this is what it's gonna be like. Our dog in the background snoring.
He woke her up and she's grumpy now and growling. It's so fun. And then he cries. It's so good.
Come on. Dogs are the best. That's one thing, getting to grad school is so much better with the puppy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, going through that class with him kind of sparked the interest again in I guess it sparked interest in physics, and also like I enjoyed it more because there was more mathematics, because it was a higher level physics course. So I started seeing, I did always have a big interest in math, and then seeing that connected with physics at a more sophisticated level made me more interested in it. And so I think that was the point where I said, I think this is going to be my major. I'm going to go into physics. But really not just that. During my time in undergrad, I did have like a lot of mental health issues, and it was kind of really hard for me to I felt like my identity was fractured to some degree, and so kind of trying to go through all that and process that, physics and math were a way to help me understand the universe, but like my mind and like really how it was working. And I felt like it kind of helped me get out of that space. And I always thought, hey, if I can kind of like how I feel like you, Joe, also seemed like you used it to help you mentally as well, right?
Kind of, maybe not exactly in the way you intend, but you have to finish your sentence.
Yeah, I guess like I thought, okay, maybe if I could use it to understand even the mind more, understand myself, like if I could understand fundamentally what's going on in general with matter or nature, like are there like patterns I could eventually understand more about like our existence. I don't know, I know it sounds kind of like the quantum woo stuff, but in a way it was like philosophical and also spiritual for me, physics and math. And it kind of helped me heal part of me, because through even just the tools that I learned for problem solving and like all of that you get through physics and math, it kind of helped me apply those rules to myself. So it's like I had to basically rebuild my mind. It felt fractured, and so I kind of, in a way, I felt like I had to break it down, and then I had to put it back together. And by using the techniques that I'm learning as I'm doing physics and everything, I felt like using those techniques was like invaluable in terms of helping me put those pieces together. So it was kind of like coming along those lines. I felt like it was providing me this really strong tool, but on top of it, I had like a spiritual connection to it. And I really felt like I can understand the world and myself better, and I had a better philosophy as to like what the meaning of this world is, what the meaning of my life is. And I didn't have to be attached to a meaning of life, Mm-hmm. I felt like I had something concrete right there, like particle interactions, which is into going into why I wanted to be in high energy physics and particle physics, was because I felt like those were the fundamental pieces that make everything up. And I felt like if I could look at things at just that fundamental level as just these interactions, I could let go of all of this stuff that was holding me back, like judgments on myself. I could kind of try to let go of some ego, that we all have. And I could just accept it as interaction. Yeah, like That's just energy interactions. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, the ego thing is a big one for me too. Like, that's one thing that, I mean, almost on the flip side of nihilism, of like, sort of like giving yourself the vocabulary to let go of the meaning of things sometimes. to say like, yeah, it's okay, nothing matters. Sometimes can be kind of comforting. I mean, it's not always the healthiest way to think about stuff, but it did. That's something that allows me to let go of things sometimes.
Yeah. And it brought interest in understanding things, like things that were painful for me. I was like, but I want to break it down. I want to understand where this is coming from, even if it was like, why do I act in this way? And just tracing back the logical steps of like, how did that form?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to break it down and I'm going to reform something better. Right. So it's like all of those things together really just kept me like, I like this. I want to keep doing this.
Cool.
And then coming into grad school, and then in the group that I'm in now, we kind of mentioned like, when I start doing the work, like what you said, Gustavo, like it's a problem for me. I keep doing it because it's like, it's a fun puzzle that I'm trying to solve. Okay, what's the next step? How can I make it even more efficient or better? Because a lot of my stuff now is development, it's even code development. But it's just like the puzzle aspect keeps me coming for more. I love that. So there's a lot of aspects as to why I do it and continue doing it.
Yeah, the big picture philosophical stuff doesn't get you through like the long nights of work.
Through the long nights and like, the everyday mundane stuff you have to do, right?
Yeah. And by the same token, like the other components of the work are also so important, right? Like the big picture stuff, the puzzle solving stuff also doesn't get you through the rough interactions at the office or the conference or whatever, right? Like, so I do think that like all these different components are like important for you to have a healthy relationship with the work in physics, for sure. I also really quick wanted to share that like you guys shared about like using physics, and it's not necessarily unique to physics, right? Like it's just that we all ended up in physics and we have that in common, but like that in your path through your career, you used physics as this like goal that you set for yourself that allowed you to like structure your life, or the way that you approach structuring your life or whatever it is to like improve it. And I relate to that a lot too. I mean, I was saying earlier how my computer science grades were not that good, and it's because I was not that interested in it. And then when I started doing physics, because it was something that I thought was really interesting, the classes were suddenly much harder, and I was gonna fail if I didn't change something big time about how I approached school. And that was like a big moment in my undergrad for me. I remember I was talking to my friend after some like rough exam, and I was like, I have to study. And like there was a pivotal moment in my career where I sort of just decided to be better, and like, I mean, you mentioned something like that's crazy considering like how I perceive you now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was the inciting moment of like, if anything changed, if it looks like I'm a try hard now, it's because of that. And it's because I was gonna fail otherwise.
I mean, I don't know if I would say try hard. I mean, isn't try hard has a negative connotation, right? I don't know. But
yeah, sorry. But,
no, I would. Well, so I wouldn't call you try hard, but you come across as very competent. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just surprising that that you would have those types of struggles.
Yeah, I mean, you seem so confident. Like even the journal clubs or at conferences that we've been to, I'm like, oh wow, like,
those
so confident. Like
in
he
my
knows
mind,
what he's
those are
talking
completely
about.
different things. The like the doing well in classes and not being scared of the journal club are not the same coin.
Okay, yeah, sure.
For like in terms of how I approach my work.
Uh-huh.
Did you want to share more about how you got into physics, or?
Not in particular, unless you had any questions about it. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, there's only one other thing that came up when you all were sharing, was that, and how you were sharing from your university experience, that that going to grad school was just like the thing you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was curious about your guys' experience. I mean, probably at Wellesley, I'd imagine they drill that into you. I don't know. And then
I mean,
just have
they drilled it, not exactly drilled it. I mean, but it's like, I feel like a lot of times they're like, oh, what's the path? You go and get your PhD or something. Like when you get to some level of physics, it's kind of like, but they didn't. I mean, there were other options that people were
especially
exploring
10 years ago, right? It's kind of different now to get an undergrad in physics. I don't know how much there's that you can do with it now. But I remember at the time, it was the kind of thing where like, oh, you get a physics degree, you can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I feel like there's a lot less power in getting an undergrad degree in physics now. But I'm also not an undergrad in physics now, so I guess I don't know.
Yeah, so it's just in my undergrad, like, most of us didn't go to grad school, right? Like, so our class was like at Long Beach, it was like really big. Then there was like 60 plus majors, I think, that graduated in my year or something.
In physics?
Yeah.
Holy.
Wow. So yeah, when I was president, SPS president at that time, yeah, we had like a lot of members.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And of them, there was like a few of us that went to grad school. Most of them didn't make it in. So it was just like
they tried, but they didn't. I don't know. I don't know if you know those details, right? But
a lot of my friends tried. Not as hard as I was trying, but they tried. They applied, and most of my friends didn't get in. So just for me, it was like anything but inevitable, I guess. Right? That was not like professors would be like, yeah, you know, if you want to go to grad school, you should probably be doing this. But then that's where the conversation ended, right? It's just like, if this is something you're interested in, you should probably like do some research or something, or you know. And so yeah, it's just interesting, the difference in culture. That's why I was just curious.
So for me, it was the like series of events was the opposite. I decided I wanted to go to grad school, and that's why I went into physics. So I don't know if that's a very relatable.
I will say it's not the most
common path. Like, I want to go to grad school. I guess I get into physics, so I go to physics grad school.
No, but it was easy because I had already had a minor in it. So I was like, oh, well, I wanted to do grad school in this other topic. My grades aren't good enough. I can do one more year, finish this other degree, and go to grad school in that. And like, especially with the kind of itch that I was trying to scratch originally in terms of like why I wanted to go to grad school and do computer science at the time. Yeah. It honestly felt like I was just doing the same thing, but in physics instead. And it's not the topic that I was already invested in, but it was also interesting to me. So it was easier than doing literally anything else and also going to grad school.
Yeah.
So your grades in physics were better than computer science?
Yeah, because I took less classes.
Okay.
In my computer science, I just thought I was going to go and get a job afterwards, and the programming classes were easy. And I'm not saying this to brag. It was just like, I mean, I was sleeping through it and getting a B. It's not because I was super duper talented. It's because the standard was low. And so I think that's also part of why I was like bored, and then like leading into me like being more competent, as you guys say, like physics actually was challenging, and that was satisfying to me to overcome that over time. So it was the first time that I felt that I was trying to that I needed to be better at this, otherwise I wasn't gonna like achieve the thing that I wanted to achieve. I don't know, it's weird. I've never really been that goal oriented, to be honest, but
yeah, that's interesting. I'm tempted to pick that up, but I'm thinking about maybe doing a hard pivot of talking more about your guys' feelings towards the future, about this transition that you're going through. Because, I mean, we're also graduating soon, and like that's very top of mind of like, how do we navigate this transition and stuff like that. And as trying to solve the two-body problem is pretty complicated. So I guess I'm just curious what your guys' feelings are about Dr. Fig here, going off to France, and then like, if you want to talk about what it was like here, like the whole DACA stuff, or just in general about navigating the uncertainty of like all this change that's coming up.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up the DACA thing. It has definitely been rough, and I would even cite this as one of the major motivators for me to take this position in France, because it's really hard to travel with DACA. So basically, like, even though I've lived my whole life in the US, I'm gonna get to live a more normal life given that I have family outside the US if I leave the US. And so that was one of the major like aspects of like why taking this job felt like a good idea to me. It's also like a relatively prestigious position, doing something that I think is really interesting. So which is what Irene does. So I'm really excited about the technical aspects of the work that I'll be doing there. So I'm just giving you the answer in like a soup of like all the different components of the question that you asked.
That's fine.
So like, I'm excited about living somewhere else outside the US. I'm excited about how different that's going to feel. I'm scared about the new parts that I don't know about and don't understand and won't understand until I mess it up and then get yelled at. I'm scared about the new language. I took 4 years of French in high school, and I'm actually surprised. I just started doing Duolingo again yesterday. I'm moving in a few weeks, and it's like really late to get started on that, but give me a break. I was defending my PhD, right? But so I just started doing Duolingo again yesterday. I'm actually surprised at how much I still remember. And especially, like, the thing about Duolingo too is that I don't know how good it is at actually teaching you the language, but since I already know so much of it, it's been a really nice like reminder kind of thing, like crash course reminder thing. So that's been good, but it's still scary. Definitely can't order food at a restaurant yet, so that feels like the number one hump to overcome is like be able to order food at a restaurant without pissing people off.
It's hard with the French.
Well, I'll find out. I'll let you know.
From what I hear.
Yeah. So and then like I said, it's really hard to travel with DACA. So I'm excited to be able to travel. Also, I have family in Portugal and in Brazil, so I think I'm gonna go see them for the holidays. I'm really excited about that. I think the hardest part is going to be the time that Angelica and I spent apart.
Yeah.
We don't know how long it's going to be. No. We don't know what it's going to look like after. And maybe the one sort of like central... Oh God, it's so cheesy. It's the two-body problem. It's a central force problem. So the one central force... is that we want to be together, throw up. But like, it's true. I mean, it's like the one thing that is like that we know, and the position that I'm going for is very short, and I have to apply again for the next position this year, and so we don't know what I'm going to be doing in a year, and that part's really scary. But somehow it's kind of like, well, we have each other. And that means that whatever happens, we'll have a home on the other side. That's really comforting.
Yeah. Yeah. Very uncertain times, I guess. The plan for now is that you will go in 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'll stick around with the internship I have, which I don't know how long it's gonna last.
Yep.
So hopefully by, I don't know, maybe February or March, we'll have a better idea of what will be the plan
beyond this
beyond this position in terms of potential second postdocs for you. And once knowing that, I guess it will be easier to converge into that location. But yeah, I don't know. It might happen that I go to Europe on December, on January, on October, when, who knows? We don't know.
So what's your primary feeling around it? Anxiety or?
Yes.
Okay. And so how do you?
I just
process
struggle a lot with uncertainty.
Yeah.
And not knowing what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's very stressful. Yeah.
So
how do you process it?
Yeah. So what do you do with that anxiety?
This guy helps me a lot.
So
because it's really easy to spiral.
okay.
It's really easy to spiral, especially these days. So I mean, I appreciate so much the support that Gustavo gives and kind of like the reassurance that, yeah, we don't know, but we'll figure it out. And we cannot plan every single possible scenario with so many unknowns, because then you go crazy.
Yeah.
So I guess the plan is to wait until something is certain and make a decision based on that.
Yeah.
And
that's the problem with the moment that we're in right now.
Yes.
It's because there are no details.
No details. Like, no
it's,
details.
It's a really scary it's a really scary moment right now.
Yeah.
We have no reassuring words, Joe.
But I feel that it's kind of like very particular of our circumstances. So I don't know how much this informs
anybody else's decision,
your future position of, solving the two-body problem once you guys graduate.
Oh yeah. I'm just curious about like how you guys personally are handling it. And it sounds like you guys, on your end, like you talk about it, right? You just
every day.
Oh yeah.
So you just communicate.
Yeah. I guess that's key, because it's stressful for the two of us, and the important thing is to just keep talking about it and checking on each other. How are we feeling? How is this looking? How is this sounding?
Because it's kind of like we have these conversations at like an attempt to make the decisions that we are able to make at the moment.
Yeah.
And sometimes you make the decision on that day, and then the next day comes and you're like, let's do that again. And you have the same conversation again. You make the same decisions, and it reassures you that, okay, we already did what we could do for now. But maybe the next day you have to have the same conversation again. But that's the reassurance that's like somehow builds the reassurance of like, okay, we still believe that we're making the right choices as far as we know.
Yeah. So this week was particularly hard because my OPT is expiring on October 1st, and I have to go through the process of renewing the OPT. So anyways, long story short, there's a form that I have to fill out as part of the process of renewing, and that just implies like talking to the employer and literally making a training plan, specifying what are you gonna do, how are they gonna keep track of your progress, blah 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 blah, right? And I was already feeling a little self-conscious of like bringing this up in the company where I'm doing the internship, because they have mentioned to me that they're happy with my work, and if it was for them, they will have me there and they will hire me. But of course the circumstances of the country and the economy are different and goes beyond the control of the team there. So they at some point they mentioned it's like by October or November we will know better, we'll let you know what's gonna happen and so on. So it just felt so bad in my view to bring this up now. It's like I don't want this to come across as me putting pressure in any way. It's really just a requirement that I have to fill out.
Yeah.
And as always, they were super, super nice about it. But then at some point, since anyways, I'm not employed directly by this company where I'm doing the internship. There's like a vendor, a contractor in the middle. And that just made filling out the form a little vague. And at some point, the advisor in the university explained to me who should sign one part, who should sign the other part. And then this week from the company, they say, it's like, yeah, we cannot sign this because it keeps saying that the employer, and we are technically not the employer, this other company, the contractor is the employer. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And the clock is ticking. I really need to get this done. What if it's not done in time? Because that's a really, really hard deadline to submit that paperwork. And, my anxious mind just goes all the way down. It's like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen if this doesn't get done in time? Like, I can only work till October 1st. That means that I'll need to leave the country potentially in the next month or two. It was just so high stress, high pressure. And of course, talking to Gustavo afterwards is like, hold on, let's wait, let's see what happened. I don't think it's gonna go in that direction. And anyways, things clear out, but it's that type of uncertainty, It's like anything can change anything. So we'll see.
Yeah, like so like the paperwork that you had to go through has been pending for a while. It's just taking longer than you thought it would, and the people who had to fill it out, like, it was more complicated than they expected, and it took longer than they expected. And then the whole time you're thinking, like, what if this doesn't happen, or what if nobody can sign it, or whatever. And it's like, if that happens, what's gonna happen? And the whole time I was just trying to say, like, hold on, like nothing is this, like, impossible. Like, these things all tend to be, like, annoying, and bureaucracy sucks and stuff. But I was trying to be as reassuring as possible, just to not, like, because it does weigh on you a lot sometimes when these things are kind of pending. So I tried to look, because the thing is, like, Angelica's a planner, and I'm not. I'm a winger. And I just tried to, like, instill a little bit of, like, wing it energy on her, and say, like, look, it's gonna be fine. Something's gonna happen. Like, I mean, we gotta do our part, but once we like do the thing that we have control over, like, the rest is outside our control, and it's a waste of energy. It's a waste of, like, emotional and mental energy to worry. The best we can do is, like, wait and, take care of ourselves in the meantime. But at the same time, I'm not trying to completely convince Angelica to never plan for anything ever again.
I don't think that's possible.
Or that, don't worry, right? Or that, like, it's not a good idea to plan for things. And God knows, like, I could benefit from some of that too. So, I'm not just trying to derail
It's
her.
a balance.
It's a balance.
Yeah.
But so it seems like it's, what exactly was is there any closure on that at all? Or is it, like, still totally up in the air? Does it seem like they're kind of sorting it out, or?
Yeah. Because I sent this, I was keeping communication with these two parts, like the company where I'm doing the internship and the contractor itself, the direct employer, and the communication is just slow. It's like you send an email, like a week passed by and they haven't replied. It's like, what's happening? Yeah. So in the meantime, I send more updates to this other, like the contractor is like, this is happening, can you sign this other part of the form, blah, blah, blah. And I don't hear back from them. It was Friday at 5:04 after I finished a meeting that I look at the email, and the girl from the contractor company sent me the form, everything signed. So I was like, oh my gosh, this was like the best possible way. I still need to do other paperwork, but that's more on my end. So it should work out. Also, like the international advisor at on campus at the university, he is such a nice person. He's so helpful. Like, I don't know, his support has also helped a lot. Okay. I've met like 2 or 3 times with him in the meantime, and it's like, panic, what should I do? It's like, hold on.
And that was, I mean, maybe we shouldn't get into it on a pod, but like there was even more stuff that was going on in terms of like, that was like stressful for you in terms of like future plans, but that was just one thing that you was worried about this week.
Yeah. I get stressed very easy.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It's not like anything light. It's not like, this little trivial thing that she's worried about. Oh my God. Yeah. It's like there were multiple kind of heavy, annoying bureaucracy, like work related things that like were on her mind. And it's like, I don't blame you. And then the next day she's like, I'm so sorry that I've been so stressed. Like it must be so exhausting to like deal with like my stress all the time or whatever. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like there was no you like what you're going through is hard, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't blame you for being anxious. I can't be like, I wish she wasn't like this. Like these are things that we're going through. It is how it is.
You have anything you want to add?
No, it just seems really tough.
Yeah.
I'll to have to sit with all the uncertainty, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know it's that paperwork is when it's due, you know. It's like you have to get that done.
Yeah. What about you guys? Like, how do you
do you foresee the future taking some shape whatsoever?
Which, like,
beyond the PhD?
From our experience, like, no pressure at all. I know that
we don't
sometimes
expect any answer necessarily.
Yeah, I know that sometimes even the question can trigger, like, I don't know. So, you know.
I'm not the best planner, probably. I'm more like on your end, Gustavo. You know?
You're a winger.
I'm a winger.
Yeah, this is the winger side.
And then that's the more planner side on the left side of the table. But like I also have anxiety, like, but then like I don't know, you know, I get anxious about this stuff, so then I have to like, I do also then think, okay, as many timelines as I can think of, I do this, what's gonna happen there, but then that can become overwhelming because I have like, I'm thinking of way too many timelines. I'm like, okay, just stop. And then I'll just end up being like, okay, whatever, I'll just wing it then, because it's like it's too much to have all those.
That is also how my brain works. It's kind of like, I could be worried about this, 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 or I could pretend like it's gonna be fine. And that's kind of what happens.
Our brains work so differently.
I also feel like I do think that I handle like new information well. Like I don't have decision paralysis, so maybe that's something that works in my favor. I don't know how you feel about this. Like if you have a bunch of like the billion universes of the future that you could decide between, but like you get one new piece of information that like might make it better if you go in a certain direction. Like how long does it take you to like update your decision making?
It takes a really long time for me to make a decision, just because I don't like specifically see that one outcome is better than the other. Like I to the point where I'm like, well, if I go in that route, that would be okay. Or that route, that outcome there is also fine. Okay, well, I'm fine with any of them, so I don't know what to choose. So I'm not going to choose anything. I'm just going to sit here for hours. I'm like, did you choose yet? No. Like a year later, did you choose yet? No. And it's like, wow, everything takes me forever to do, because it's like I can't. But yeah, so I guess if that's decision paralysis, then yes, I have that.
I think that is what I would describe as.
Okay. But then Joe helps with that. He'll be like, well, just do that. Or like sometimes now I take a D20 or whatever and I just roll it, and then whatever it tells me to do is what I do.
Oh my god,
Maybe that's a strategy.
that's a strategy.
Oh yeah, got distracted. But so plans for the future?
Oh right, plans for the yeah. I don't know, because I don't know about if I want to do a postdoc in particular or not. But I also have these plans of going to like Oregon or something with mountains. Like we've been doing a lot of indoor climbing, and I really want to like bring that to outdoors. And I love hiking. I want to be in nature, and I kind of want to have like something where I can have forest and mountains and some rain, and like I don't know. I have this dream of having all the nature around me as possible, and
Oregon does have everything, doesn't it?
it does have a lot of the stuff. I
Are
don't know.
there beaches?
There are. I haven't been to them.
I mean, at least there's
they
a
might be
coast,
kinda
right?
rocky,
So-
I'm guessing.
Right.
Rocky beaches, maybe. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like I kind of am more interested in being in the environment that I want to be in, and I don't want to be dictated by the postdoc. Like I don't want to be
Yeah,
like
that's
wherever
real.
the postdoc takes me, I have to go.
Yeah.
And then I have Sage, and I don't want to go somewhere where I can't bring her either.
Yeah.
Like if I had to go abroad, I don't know. I don't want to have to fly her in the undercarriage. I know this sounds kind of like, oh, I mean, it shouldn't be a big deal, but like I want her to be, if I had to fly her somewhere, I want her to fly with me in the cabin, right? So it's like, if I have to move to a new location, I'd prefer the potential of being able to move with her where I could be flying with her with me instead of like leaving her in another location. I know that's
I don't
like,
even know how that works. Like, if it's international, it is all only in the baggage.
I'm
area?
not sure. Ike might be fine because he's so small.
I
Yeah,
think it's
I think
a-
with
if
the
dog-
small
if
dogs,
the pet
yeah.
fits in the carry-on or whatever. then
yeah,
it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, then it's fine.
I'm not sure the international rules, but in general,
Can't you
dogs-
just buy her a ticket?
no?
But there are some airlines
She
now that
sits next
fly
to me.
bigger dogs in.
Really?
It's becoming.
That was like one airline to like one location.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I saw. Okay, well, I'm not sure, but that would be an investigation. But I'm saying like things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it shouldn't be a thing, but it really is because I don't know. I don't.
It's
Um,
fair.
I also don't think it's unreasonable.
No.
But then I don't want to have to just like with the uncertainty of postdocs, right? It's like there's an insecurity there. You know, you have it for 1 year, then you don't know if you get extended. Am I going to stay there for 2 years? Am I going to get another postdoc? Is it going to send me to another whole location, right?
He's gotta go. We gotta take him out.
You want to pause? We could pause.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so in terms of that, I don't know. I just don't know what to do, I guess. I don't know if I should be applying for postdocs or not. I mean, people will probably tell me, yeah, you have to apply for postdocs, and by the end of this year, if you're going to graduate in the spring, which is what I'm planning to do. I don't know where I would apply. My advisor has been sending me some teaching positions, some other random things, but they're in locations that I don't know if I want to go there, right? So it's like a lot of the stuff that people are sending me is like not an ideal location for what I said. I want mountains, I want
Yeah, the
forests.
location limitation is real.
Yes.
And I just don't want to go somewhere just because that's where I got the postdoc, you know, and I just don't want to do that. So that's the uncertainty for me is like I have no idea what I'm gonna do then. I mean, I could do a teaching position maybe. I'm tired too. I'm just tired. I don't want to have to think about the next thing and run to it and sprint to it. I just want to take a break too, you know.
Let me know if you wanna, let's say, if I can help at all if you're thinking about doing applications. Even if you're just thinking about it and you want to throw around some ideas.
Yeah.
I have a little experience with that now, so I can share with you what I know. And then,
Yeah. I mean, there is one thing that I said, oh, it would be kind of cool if like, I mean, I like the project I'm working in and there's like a lot more work to do in it. And if it's like, I could work on that specific development of what I'm doing now, like software development and expanding the project, expanding our framework doing that after the PhD, but in a more flexible way, like more remotely, whatever, that I could travel to like Oregon or whatever, maybe travel back, kind of like have a hybrid kind of situation back and forth. I wouldn't mind. I want to be with them too, you know.
I don't know how it is, but you might if especially if you're considering working beyond the PhD even without having an official position, you could still apply next year.
Okay. Yeah, they make it seem like it looks bad if you don't apply. Like basically it's like, oh, your work is obsolete if you wait 1 year to apply for postdocs or something.
It's probably true if you completely leave the field.
Yeah.
But
okay.
That's what I'm saying.
If I keep working in it or something like that.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, we can have I don't know how much of that is gonna make it in, but
yeah.
We can have let's say we can think through the options together if you want.
Okay, yeah, that would be great. Thank you. What about you? What do you think are the future of?
Yeah, on my end, like I'm looking at teaching positions around the Pacific Northwest area, and and then in the spring you're going to be going to school, and I guess my plan is to just hang out.
Hell yeah.
And
I wish more of that to everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that, hopefully we could be aligned in whatever comes afterwards. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm also looking forward to like trying to explore more creative avenues at the same time. Like I have ambitions of like writing a book. I have like already ideas on that. I listened to this whole like class lecture series on YouTube, and I kind of familiar with the process now. So I want to write a book, and I'm curious to keep working on the podcast and pick that up, and maybe those lead somewhere. But at the same time, I'm planning on trying to teach. Hopefully I don't think it's going to be too competitive, but we'll see. And then afterwards, long term, maybe I find something in industry or whatever. If I could find like a perfect fit, then cool. And if not, I'll just...
Oh yeah, well that actually reminds me of my longtime dream of opening a school.
Yeah.
That's actually the reason why I went to get a PhD. Oops, I forgot to say that. Like I was like, either I'm gonna start a tutoring business or I'm gonna go to get my PhD. And I said, I'm gonna get the PhD first, and that'll just help with the tutoring business, have more qualifications. But then as you see, the PhD journey just completely like reshapes everything. Reshapes your life, your mind, your brain, and I'm like,
it's a hero's journey for everybody, I think.
Yeah. It is. But
you go and you come out different.
Yes.
And you don't really get to choose how.
Yeah. But I mean, that dream's not lost. That dream's still there. So I mean, I think I would love to do that if I could, even just like start this tutoring company I wanted from the beginning, and then if it somehow evolves into like a school kind of thing.
Yeah, cool.
That would be...
That sounds pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Mm-hmm. So I'm mindful of the time, but I wanted to talk about things other than physics for a moment.
We're at the Beyond section of Beyond Physics.
Yeah. Just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to talk about like how your hobbies have like interfaced with you getting through the program or whatever, like how you rank them in terms of importance or whatever. And could be a good time to talk about D&D stuff too, but
it's a great question,
because I know
hobbies,
you guys are big into pottery and stuff like that, and just wondering how important that is to you guys.
I feel that the first maybe 2 or 3 years of grad school, it was so busy with classwork that I didn't really hold like any hobbies in a consistent way whatsoever. Then I started pottery, and I absolutely loved it. Then pandemic came, so pottery was not available because everything was closed. And yeah, the university, the building in the university where the studio is also got like renovated, so that delayed the whole thing. Long story short, it's like it was only in the last 2 years of the PhD that I was able to go back to pottery, and it was absolutely amazing. It was so worth it. It just requires a little extra organization of your time to really convince yourself that it's okay, that you like the work is not gonna get that much delay for the time that you allocate for your hobbies, and it just recharges you. It's just all positive all together. It's amazing.
Yeah, I do feel like I certainly didn't get any kind of encouragement of this form, like in my experience in grad school, but I did hear from other people, including professors from the time before I was in grad school, that like something really important in grad school is actually to find like a hobby or a community that is like reliable, that is not work related, because you just spend so much time thinking about your work that straight up is just bad for you sometimes, and like it's good to have a place to go to where you can think about something else and have different like aspirations, different ways to express yourself, different goals, and specifically something that is like emotionally unrelated to your work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a hobby, a specific hobby per se, but I also count like, hanging out with your friends. Like, we used to, play board games a lot and just like hang out, and then it became the D&D, which was awesome, and all that counts. I feel it's all very important. Actually, it makes your time a little more balanced and a little more healthy. What about you guys? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I do put aside a good amount of time to do things outside, because I know I need to, because if I don't, I just get too burnt out. Like sometimes I just feel burnt out with work, and I'm like, even when my advisor's like, I need this, sometimes I just don't respond. I know it's not the best way to communicate, but I'm like, I really burn out and I need a break, and I just take my time and I do what I need to do so I can recharge, and then I'm better at the work, right?
I believe that too.
But like
I also experience recharging that way.
Like we do climbing and hiking. I love being in nature. I think that helps me a lot. And music too. Like I always say, if there's an amount of time that if I have not played in a while, I know there's something wrong, and I'm like, I have to sit down and play piano, because like it recharges me. It's like I'm free, right? Like I can just sit down and play whatever I feel, and it's like I can be creative, and I don't have there's no frameworks behind there that are pushing me to be like, I have to do it in this way. I feel like it's so relieving to just sit there and just like play my heart out, enjoy unstructured. I don't have to worry about anything. I just and sometimes I want to learn a new piece, and like that's more technical, and I feel like doing that, but it's like I'm using my brain in a different way than I would. And it's also sometimes
and there's no external pressure.
Exactly.
I also feel like having a pet falls into this.
Oh my gosh. Yes. You mentioned it earlier, Irene, that like whenever you went to grad school, you knew you needed a dog. 100%.
Yeah.
Also, yes.
It's not a hobby, right?
but it's
it recharges you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's rewarding in a way.
It gives you a little boost of straight up enjoyment every single day. Oh my gosh. I couldn't have made it without this little guy.
Before I was in grad school, I was really into music and art too, and it's something that I wish that I had more time to do. I do feel like in a big way, it takes at least for me. Well, I used to play drums, so if I could just play drums, that would be fine. But I don't have the living situation where I can like own a drum set and play drums out loud right now. That's okay.
What about electric set?
I mean, I could do that. I just never went for it. Money wise, basically, is the reason. Maybe also space wise. because it doesn't take quite as much space as
Yeah.
a full drum set, but it still takes a little bit of space, which I don't think I really ever had, that I could do it comfortably. I play a little guitar. Yesterday I picked up the guitar for the first time in like months. Was it yesterday? That was yesterday. I wish I had more time to dedicate to that. I do feel like but part of the reason that I don't have time to dedicate more to that is because I've been spending a lot of time doing pottery when I have free time. I also value doing stuff like this a lot, like socializing and making sure that I have some time during the week where I get to do this kind of like social activity where, yeah, I mean, I don't have to explain this. It's unstructured. It's a good time. It's with people that you like, and at least for me, as part of my like balanced breakfast of like emotional needs. I used to do a lot of painting too, and basically for the same reasons as that I don't play drums anymore. It's just like takes space and time, and it gets dirty, and you need to, you know, set up and break down. And then again, I did a little bit of painting over the last couple of years, but when we moved to the new place, we never did it again, I think. And
No.
it's just that. So the thing is with pottery is that we get to go to a studio, and we go there and we get dirty and we do all of the stuff, and then we leave it and it's there, right? But I think part of the thing about doing a hobby at home, and probably you can attest to this, Joe, in terms of like working on D&D stuff and setting up things and blah blah blah, is that you have to spend some time setting up and breaking down in your living space. And I think for some reason that takes a lot of energy, like a lot of like motivation to do. And I think we just somehow never got over the hurdle for painting that way, to do it more frequently. We tried to do a little bit of drawing, just didn't stick. That's okay. Maybe one day.
Yeah, I remember you sharing that you were in AP art and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious to see more of your stuff.
Yeah, I can't believe I've never shown you anything. Yeah. I gotta find my old Tumblr.
Yeah, you better
right.
show it before you leave.
Yeah, I'll show you today. I also got into fighting games during pandemic. I got into Super Smash Bros. Melee, and lately I've been playing more Rivals 2, which is Rivals of Ether 2, which is this game that came out last year. I think I have a love-hate relationship with that kind of thing. It's not. It doesn't feel. The thing is that I think there's like a really cool part of it that I just don't engage with, which is the community aspect of like going to tournaments and stuff like that. And the reason that I don't engage with it is not because I don't think I would enjoy it, but it's just that it's like I have my community here. Like I have you guys, I have friends that do these things that I like to do already. And when I play video games, it's just more about like, I don't know, doing something fun to pass the time, and a lot less about building community. And don't get me wrong, I love building community, but I just never felt the desire to go out there and engage with that aspect of this. And instead it become for me, like, even though I do have a lot of time that I've spent on those games that I sort of value and enjoy a lot, especially our friend Simon also plays Melee, and we have such a good time when we play together. But I tend to go a little overboard, I think, when I play by myself, of like spending too much time doing it and like looking back and being like, damn, I wasted like 2 hours doing this. And if there was some extrinsic aspect of it that that I also got the benefit of, like building community out of it or something like that, or if I felt like it was somehow a transferable skill into something else, I think I would value it a lot more, and I feel like I would have a better argument for continuing to play them. But no, instead sometimes I play them and I'm like, yeah, that was pretty fun, but I could have just played like a different video game that has a story or something, you know? And I think it, like, looking back the time that I spent playing those games, like I enjoy them on like a challenging self-improvement kind of level, but it's so removed from anything else. Like I don't get to brag to anybody in my real life that I got to plat in that game or something like that I like achieved something in the competitive like scene of that game. So yeah, I don't know. I had a long time there where I was only playing competitive games before Angelica and I were really dating. And this is like where the trouble started with that hobby of like for a split second I was like, I want to be more competitive at some of these games. I want to be better, like Valorant or Melee. And like I found myself getting frustrated and not having fun. And then also like before pandemic, I went to one tournament and then pandemic started. And then that kind of like, snuffed that flame. And then I just never engaged with that aspect of it again. And then it just became this thing that I guess I like gravitate to when I'm bored. Instead of learning how to play an instrument or whatever, or like engaging with some other more valuable hobby. Which is not to say that those games are not valuable to whoever enjoys them. It's just that like the particular relationship that I had with it was has not been like my favorite thing.
Yeah. One thing you might not know about me, given our relationship, is that been pretty competitive in the past. I played a lot of sports, and then like one thing I'm working on in therapy is related to the self-improvement stuff. Is just like whenever I engage with anything, video games, whatever, it's just like because I want to be like the best at it or whatever. And yeah, so anyways, I used to play like a lot of League back in the day with like a big group of friends and stuff, and I was really good at that. And like there was a time, and like I used to play Diablo 3 with my dad.
Oh.
My dad was big into Diablo, and there was like, they had like an unofficial ranking of like top damage earners, and I was like in the top 5 or 10 or something. Like the top of the top for like a very brief...
Top 5 or 10, not percentile, top 5 or 10 players.
Yeah, damage DPS in the world or something.
Holy shit.
For a split second, for a tiny moment.
Yeah, those things only last like, I mean, you have to keep it up as a full-time job.
Yeah. But so that's a big part of like my personality that's changed since being in a relationship with Irene, is that like she's very much the opposite and very much non-competitive, and that I feel like I think she might find that kind of threatening.
Well, I'm scared of competition. Let's just say that. I like literally feel like I'm gonna have, it's a fear. I get a fear response when there's competition.
Yeah. So when it comes to like non-physics, I hate competition in physics, and like when it comes to like things of work and stuff like that. But for like games or whatever, for whatever reason, I tend to be a lot more competitive, and so I've toned that part of my persona way down, and it's been largely fine. I'm fine to let that part go and then just do things that are more collaborative, and that's fun too. So it's just interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, like D&D.
Yeah.
Like I was really afraid to play. Like I used to have game anxiety.
Yeah.
Before we started dating, I had game anxiety, where it's like I was so anxious to play any games at all, because I guess like I don't know, people can get so competitive, and it scared me. So I was like, oh, I can't play the games. But I slowly playing games with you, that's like helped me get through that, and now I play games and I enjoy them. And then I never thought I'd be able to play D&D. That seemed like, wow, that is like
so sweaty.
Yeah. And I was just like, wow, I had to know all these things about all these different classes and like everything.
That's so funny, because that's like your favorite part.
And now I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want the hardest one possible. I want all the spells. Like I just like, I love reading all the spells and figuring out which ones are going to come together.
Yeah.
And then like for the last campaign that we had, I was thinking of all the different ways I would put, like all the combos I would make with my spells. If this situation happened, I'll use this.
Yeah.
And I when we actually play, I only use like, I don't know, 10% or less of like all the combos I make up, but I'm like, oh, I didn't get to use that combo. And there was one chance where like I missed a chance to use one of the combos I had specifically set up for this very niche situation. And it happened in the game, and then I forgot that I was supposed to use it. And I was like, no! But yeah, so I mean, like, then I just get so into the story because, like, the role-playing part of it, though, is, like, so satisfying.
Oh my gosh.
You do such an amazing job.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
You're a great actress.
I never thought I would love to play that. I was like, there's so many parts to it. And, and I was scared of the role-playing, too. But then when we do it, I just feel like, wow, it's so much fun.
Yeah, it's such this complete package of, like, self-expression and like, because it is just play. Right, and that's the coolest thing about it is that, like, there's the combat aspect, but like one of the things, and like I think one of my favorite components of D&D is just the story that is you build collaboratively, like not just that the DM sets up for you, but that the players get to influence, and like the combat for me is essentially like secondary, at least in terms of like my emphasis on how I engage with the game. And like it's funny to think about like but it makes sense because it's like not a lot of people, or like I didn't know what it was going to be like that well before we started playing. But it's funny in hindsight to think about having like performance anxiety of playing D&D, because to me it's almost the opposite. It's like this it's like finger painting. It's like this like purest, most wide open sandbox of like you basically just you have like the like most loosely structured rule set that you basically can have while still being a rule set. Like the reason people think D&D is complicated is because there's a lot of rules, but there's a lot of rules not because you're not allowed to do very many things. It's the opposite. There's so many rules because there are so many options, right?
Yeah.
And so it really becomes this game of like, how do I problem solve in this giant system? And it's like I mean I make it sound kind of cold, but it's not. It's the opposite. It's creative. It's this like there's just so many ways that you can. I mean, like beyond just combos in the combat.
Yeah,
there's
of course.
There's combos in the role playing.
There's
there's fun choices that you get to make. One of my favorite things of our experience in D&D together was in the first campaign where Angelica has this set of magical paintbrushes.
Oh my gosh,
that was them. So cool. I love those
and like the situations that enabled for us, like were some of the most magical like storytelling moments. I love it so much.
It was really good.
Yeah, I mean, the scary part too is also like the people that you're playing with. For me, like with the games in general, also.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, with you guys, I felt comfortable and safe in the environment. You know, other people I might have not been so willing to be so like open about the role playing or open about like choices, because I feel like, they're gonna judge me for like how I decided to play it, or they'll laugh because the role playing was a little bit awkward, or who knows, right? But with you guys, it was fun. Like I felt comfortable, I felt safe.
It was great.
And I think it makes a big deal with playing those type of games, like how much you trust the people that you play with.
Yeah.
Right? And I think you can get a lot out of it, like even psychologically too, emotionally, you know.
Yeah, like I did group therapy at some point.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like one of the things that they essentially suggest about group therapy, that it can be like a place where you can experiment with like different, you can basically like role play, being like acting like what you might not be comfortable doing at work or in your life with your loved ones or whatever. So it does feel like D&D is also has that aspect of it, of like you can just pretend for a while to be somebody else, and that can definitely have these like cathartic moments of like experimentation and self discovery and stuff, for sure.
Or even if you're not like per se pretending to be someone else, the circumstances are just so different. They are so magical by nature
Yeah.
that you almost don't have much time to rationalize or think about it, how you will think, and if it even makes sense, an analogous circumstance in the real world. And then it's like, oh, I will just do this. And then it's like, oh, that's interesting that I decided to do that.
yeah.
So I found that was funny.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you all humored me and went on that journey.
Well, yeah, I think I was definitely felt spoiled with you as the DM.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
You might make it hard for me to ever
Yes,
enjoy
I
D&D
think you
again.
put the bar really high.
Yeah.
But
so everyone listening, he even made us all our little minis and everything.
Yes.
yeah.
Printed
So
them out and
kind of like the D&D ended up kind of replacing this hobby of the podcast. So it's kind of interesting that now that the D&D thing wrapped up, we reintroduced this. Just I don't know. It was good to step away. Like the podcast can feel a little bit more like work sometimes. D&D's work, but
I can imagine.
But like you were saying about community and like I think it was a nice experience to like.
Yeah.
I think it really helped.
And one thing too that is kind of obvious, but it's just a great excuse to get together.
Yes.
Yes.
you're like, oh, we have to hang out this weekend because we have to play together.
Yeah, well, how else are we gonna get the number of sessions that we need in order to finish the thing? Oh no, we have to hang out, guys.
That was great. With all honesty, yes,
Yeah.
I really appreciated that.
All right, but so I'm mindful of the time. Maybe we can leave with some pithy, inspirational thing.
Words
like
of wisdom. I don't know.
yeah. So maybe I don't know what our audience is, but I get the impression that it's like young professionals, undergraduates, or whatever, in physics. And so, is there any advice that you'd give to your younger self, or whatever, if you do something differently, or you can go back in time and give yourself a piece of wisdom to help prepare for what's to come? Is there anything that you might impart to them?
I guess that what comes to mind is which is a lot of the times easier said than done, but like really listen to your gut feeling. It's like sometimes you feel that you know something, but you try to convince yourself of something else because it just seems more convenient or whatever. But on the long run, I think that it's worth listening to your deepest feelings. Sometimes they're pretty loud inside your mind.
Yeah, I don't know if I have advice. I think maybe the advice that I would give, funnily enough, might be the same advice that I was given when I wanted to go to grad school, which is like, don't go to grad school.
You're gonna continue.
And then if you choose to do it anyway, I guess you really want to. Yeah, and it's kind of similar to like listen to your gut. Like the thing is that grad school is really hard and it's not for everybody, and physics specifically is not for everybody, and you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it because it's hard. As in, like it's so hard that nobody should do it or something. And if you hear that and you still want to do it, then I guess you should do it.
Which is, I mean, I agree, but sometimes it's kind of like it's impossible to plan ahead too much, right? It's like, because it can bring you good experiences too. I mean,
absolutely.
It's a little painful sometimes and difficult, but I don't know. I will say that if a person is interested in doing a PhD, there's no harm in starting.
That's true.
And if you don't like it on the way, there's no commitment whatsoever to finish it. But what if the person likes it and continues?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about? Any last questions?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, we will talk forever, but
Yeah. Now that you put me on the spot, no.
Okay. Well, then it's been a pleasure having you both on.
Sure
And
has.
thanks for doing the podcast. And I guess
yeah.
we'll see you later, audience.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye.
Bye.